Welcome to the biggest sport Olympic show where we'll tell you about all the news happening right there in Tokyo. My name is Alawale Ayeni and I'll be your host for today. I also have in the studio Alpha right here in the studio. How you doing?
I'm fine. Once again, nice to be here. I mean, interesting results coming from the Olympics. I know we'll get to talk about that in the course of the program. But once again, nice to be here.
Of course, Dapo actually make a return to the show. Mr. Dapo, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm
How
very
is
well.
Lagos?
Yes, Lagos is calm and cool. Thank
Of
you.
course. Okay. Taufik Baba Lola also get to join us all the way from Lagos. Okay. Taufik will actually join us on the course of the show. Uh Alpha, you actually saw the game that went down today. uh, our own the Tigers actually were defeated by a certain Australian team who were, for me, they were actually firing all cylinders. What will we make up of that defeat?
Well, I really didn't see that coming, to be sincere. This is the second time in about 2 weeks that we'll be losing to the Australians. Even though we started the game quite brilliantly, by the end of the first quarter, we were all square at 23 points. So I felt, the Tigers will really kick on from there. But, they had issues with their shooting. The Australians, were always excellent with the 3 pointers. And at the end of the, first half, it was just 2 points ahead. So you really think that the Tigers will come back, to really give the Australians a good fight. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So as it is, the Tigers have lost their first game. The Australians have won, and now they need to win their next game to have a chance of progressing to the next round.
Mm. Dapo, looking at the first quarter, that quarter actually ended square in that match. What will you actually make up of the first quarter between the Tigers and the Australian team?
Well, in basketball and with the game I saw Nigeria played against Australia, that first quarter, the two teams actually tried to size themselves up, try to perfect their strategies. Normally, from the first quarter, you start, putting your strategies in place, your game plan and everything. That was what, the two teams did, and it was, it ended in parity. And that tells us that, we were in for a very tough game, which we actually saw. But the Nigerian team didn't, just like I said yesterday, we should have actually perfected our shots, the free throws, and the 3-point shot. Those are the attributes that gives a very good, a big team victories in a very tough game like we played today. But our boys did not perfect those throws. There were a lot of turnovers, dropping the balls, losing the balls to the opponent, and a counter attack, and most of them ended in 3-point shot, and that was the undoing against the Nigerian team. But that is not to say all is lost. Everything is still intact. They played that game. I don't know what the players ate overnight, or the kind of warm up they had hours to this game. It was very clear that the perfection was not there. I don't know the kind of diet they put them through, but because diet is very, very important. Rest is also very important. And the frame of mind also is very important when the issue is basketball, especially at this highest point. So something must have went wrong. Something must have went wrong. But I'm sure by the next game, they will actually put their ass together and keep moving. We are not, I don't want Nigerians to be worried. Also, the world number one, 5 times gold medalist, and also the defending champion of the world. talking about the USA, also dropped their game against France. So
definitely, we're going to come to that.
Yes. So basically, by the next game now, everything will be okay. And in basketball, you don't let go until the final whistle. So for the next game, I'm hopeful that Nigeria will get back to our winning ways.
We are hopeful that Nigeria will actually get back to winning ways. But looking at the performance of our players, the likes of Jordan, the likes of Nnamdi, do you think these guys are fully prepared for the Olympics?
We have the players, to play these games. Jordan is already an NBA champion. Just came back from, fresh from winning, the NBA championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. In today's game, I really expected him to sort of be like the pivot, the leader on the team, but maybe because of fatigue from, a long season in the NBA, he really didn't put up one of his best performances that he's really known for. So I really hope that in the next game, they will play better. But I mean, the way it is right now, they are condemned to win their next game. If not, if they lose their next game, their chances of going to the next round are very slim. And in the next game, they'll be playing the Germans, who are also not an easy team. So I think the Tigers really need to put up better performances, as they go along in the competition.
Dapo, if you're with Mike Brown at this point in time, looking at the average score of the team, our highest point actually came from Obi. He actually scored 12 points before Jordan. Also scored 10 points in that particular match. If you're with Mike Brown at this point in time, what would be your message for him?
He knows he's a thoroughbred professional. He has been there. He has been in the NBA, the highest point of basketball. He will still keep to his game. Keep to the game. Keep to your strategies. It might not actually work against Australia, but with perfection and persistence, the strategy will begin to work. And that is the hallmark of a professional coach. He knows what he's doing. One or two things, they did not allow the players to be in their best character, but they have learned their lesson, and I'm sure the next game you will see the Tigers coming out smoky. Then I want Nigerians, just my message to Nigerians also, some have started criticizing the players. It is not all about that. This is basketball. We are not talking about a game of football that, a lot of people they are coaches. But in basketball, we have the experts, and we have experts from the NBA, from the highest point of basketball league in the world with us. The players are, a lot of them are also playing at in the best league in the world. So please, let's keep focus and allow them to concentrate. Allow them. I don't know what happened before the game. I don't know if the minister actually went to them. There are things you tell players who are going onto the field to play. There are things you don't tell them. When you tell them what they are not supposed to hear, you will not get that perfection. They will start dropping the ball. The character will not be there. The psychology will be low. A lot of things like that. But I'm banking on the coaching crew not to allow people to come and start talking to them. Allow the coach only to talk to the players. Let him stick by his strategy. And I'm sure, just like I said earlier on, from this next game now, you will see the Tigers, the newfound Tigers that we actually discovered in America during the training period. I'm very, very sure these players will do well in the long run.
You're very, very sure that the players will actually do well in the long run. Of course, Taufik Babalao run us all the way from Lagos. Is Taufik? Oh, of course, Wale actually makes a return on the show all the way from London, UK. How you doing, Wale? We can't hear you, Wale. I think your mic is mute.
Oh, so sorry about that. So it's nice to join you again today, guys. So nice to catch up with my old friend and colleague, Dapo Shotiminu. Dapo, how are you? It's been a long time.
Very well. Am I speaking with Wale Omogun?
That's the only one and only.
Oh, fantastic.
Up Rangers.
Up Antelope.
Yeah, although we're not talking about Rangers today.
Of course.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
It's nice to see you guys.
Well, looking at the results between Nigeria and Australia, let's get your reaction.
I think I was just watching that analyze that, and I just want to give kudos to the guys. They did what they could. They were. And Coach Brown, Mike Brown, actually summed it up when he said, listen, the fact that we beat United States, everyone thought, yeah, we're already here. No, we're not. We're still on the road. These guys, I believe there's so much more to come from these guys. They are, they're experienced, Australia, I know that they are a very, very good team. So for us to lose, and don't forget that even the best team in the world actually lost to France. That's the USA, Team USA. So it's just the first game, okay? I know Coach Mike Brown is going to correct all the weaknesses and all the flaws, and we will definitely see the Tigers roar in the next game. There's still every opportunity for us to qualify.
Alpha, do you really agree with Wale that there is still every possibility that we get to qualify from the group?
Absolutely. Like I said, in my opening remarks, the Tigers are a very good team. Wale actually captured, we beat the USA, which is the number one ranked team. We beat Argentina, during the trials. So I think some things went wrong. I don't know, maybe it's fatigue. Some of these NBA stars just coming from a long and great season. So maybe it could be fatigue, or maybe they didn't get some of their match strategies right. But I really believe that the Tigers have everything it takes to make it to the next round from this group. Yes, it's a tough group, all that, with the Australians, with the Germans, in the same group. But I still believe that the Tigers have what it takes to come out of this group if we beat the Germans in our next game. So our chances of qualifying for the last 8 are very, very high. And I'm rooting for the Tigers to really go ahead and get the job done in the next game against the Germans.
Looking at the ranking for the games, talking about basketball in the Olympics, Australia are rated the best team, followed by Spain, followed by US in the 3rd position, Nigeria in the 4th position, Slovenia in the 5th position, France as in the 6th position, Italy in the 7th position, Argentina in the 8th, Germany at 9th position, Czech Republic at 10th position, Japan, the host country, 11th position, while Iran are in a 12th position. Looking at the Nigerians' position, 4th position, do you think, Dapo, that we can actually finish in the semi-final, maybe a bronze medal at the end of the tournament?
Take, one game at a time. When you start making projections, you will lose concentration. Your expectation may not be what will eventually come up. But the best bet is to take each game as it comes, and we will move from there. But if you at the Olympics level, you don't have to start basing anything on the ranking. Going to the courts to do your acts, undo your opponent, everything put together is what is very, very important. Even if number one ranked team on that log may not be the best at the end of the day. The Olympics, once you know how to play the game there, you actually make way. It's not about the best skilled team. It's not about the best it's not about the country that presented or the largest number of superstars. It's about you strategizing and playing to win. When you see them, some teams don't play fantastic games, but they know how to play to win, and that's what the Olympics is all about. And what do you want to do when you get there? You want to get results. So I also want to continue to tell the coach, Mike Brown, please stick by your plans, stick by your strategies. Country after country, they know what to do against the Germans. We know what to do against the Italians. Please go out there and don't be distracted. He's a world-class coach. He knows what to do. And also the players also. Nobody should be talking to them now. You know, Nigerians, what we are. Anything, any distraction, the players will start playing what is not. And you know us, once we are not winning, it's only Nigeria that they expect a team to win all games. They want us to win all the games. All the games, not minding what maybe you are playing against an opponent. They just want you to win at all costs all the time. But what about the strategies you are employing? That is the most important thing now. You should stick by strategies, go there and play a winning game. It's not about being flashy. It's not about being sensational, but going there to win, and that is what the Olympics is all about.
Wale, the first game between Italy and Germany, Italy defeated Germany 92-82, just 10 points separating both teams. Looking at the score margin between Nigeria and Australia, 84-67. Do you think we can actually match up this score line that actually went down between Italy and Germany? One will face either Italy or Germany.
I think so. I think what Mike Brown has done to the Tigers is actually he's made them more competitive. Back in the days, I'm sure a match of this magnitude, the Australians will probably have beaten us by a margin of about 40, at least about 40 points. But that's not so. The Tigers are now more competitive. They are very difficult to beat. And that's good to show that something is being done behind the scene by the coaching crew led by Mike Brown. Don't forget that Mike Brown is a very experienced coach. This is a person that's coached the All-Stars in the NBA in the past. He's coached LA Lakers, Cavaliers. He has. So he knows the game. He knows that I am sure, just like Dapo mentioned, that this is not the time for people to now be talking, negatively about the team. I know Mike Brown is so experienced. I know what he'll be doing at this particular moment is getting the boys together, shutting all negative, all outside influence out of the camp, the team, and obviously focusing on the next game, which is against the Germans. I still, for some reason, I still feel very confident in this team. We played against the best team, best ranked team in the Olympics, just like you said, and it wouldn't come harder than that, So and it's we didn't do too bad, At some point, quarter one, quarter two, we were still in the game. Quarter three, we kind of like let it sleep a bit, obviously, because the Australians were relying more on Patty Mills to destroy our team, but. It's the first game, It's not the end of the tournament, and there's still more to come. I still believe very strongly in these Tigers, and like I said, we're still going to hear the Tigers roar, big time.
Of course, looking at the medal table, looking at the group. Of course, I thought Nigerians have won a gold medal, but at this point in time, they're still in group stage. But looking at the group standing at this point in time, we know that Australian team, Italy team, and Germany are leading Nigeria at this point in time. You see at the table, getting to turn in favor of Nigeria in the next group game.
As long as we win our next game, it'll be a lot better. If we win our next game, you mean that Australia has 3 points, we have 3 points, like that. So if we win our next game, there's a high possibility of us getting into the next round. So I really expect the Tigers to really come roaring in our second game, to stand the chance of qualifying for the next round. So I think the Tigers will progress.
Of course, our thing is that the Tigers will actually progress. Of course, I'm confident that if they can able to do all the homework very well and ensure that the players actually welcome to the party in the next match, I'm confident also that the boys can actually turn things around. Of course, we shift our focus from the Tigers. We head straight to the one shocking result for the US. They suffered their first Olympic defeat in 17 years. After 17 years, since 2004, the US team has not lost any game when it comes to the Olympics. Well, at this point in time, it's certain France, the French team were firing all cylinders. They actually not defeated the US team earlier today. Therefore, what is
Okay.
wrong at this point with the US team?
Well, nothing is wrong with them. We are in a competition. We are in the Olympics, which is the highest point of the game. You know, it depends on the strategy the coach actually employed in that game. And prior to the game, there were warnings from experts in the game of basketball about the French team. There were warnings. I think twice the U.S. team were given a stand warning, but we be careful, beware of the French team. They can give you possibly an upset may come from them. An upset we actually saw today. That's not it's not a big surprise even to the U.S. team. They were told, but at the end of the day, whoever plays well will be the one that will stay back there. Just like I said earlier on, it's not about the number of stars you have in the team. It's about perfecting your strategies and making sure your players, making sure they are holding the ball firm, they are shooting and they are getting the shots. They are shooting 3 point shot also and not throwing away the valuable free throws. Today, everything that concerns Nigeria in terms of the free throw, the 2 point shots, the end game also wasn't good because I was thinking that in the fourth quarter that we were going to level up, but they were dropping the ball so too many turnovers. And we saw almost the same thing happening to the Americans. They were thinking that, as the quarters were going, the time ticking off, the running time, they were going to pick up, but they did not actually hit to the warnings that they were given before the competition. So what happened. But they are back. They are sitting back now and re-strategizing, just like the same thing the Tigers are actually doing. And I know that at the end of the day, I've seen the American team and Nigerian team actually getting out of that team, of that group. Possibly Germany or France will come as best losers, whichever way. The most important thing is the progression. Progress, go into the quarters, to the semis, and once get to the semifinals. And even the semifinals, you are in the medal zone already. And that is what we are actually looking out for.
Well, 7 points actually separated the US team from the high attacking French team. What do you actually make of that result?
It was shocking, but again, I think probably the Tigers actually exploited and exposed the flaws of Team USA this time around, especially with the exhibition match where we beat them. But I think for me, the standout on the day France beat USA was Ivan Fournier, who massive 28 points he dumped over the US team. And don't forget, this is the first time that a Team USA will be losing to France. I mean, before it was 6-0. The French team never beat the US Team USA in basketball. But I mean, looking at it again, 47% shots on the field on the day for it's. I think the issue with Team USA is sometimes when I look at it is the players feel, guys, we are the best in the world. We're playing the NBA. No team can match us. I seem to think sometimes it gets into their head. These are teams of stars. You've got Drew Holiday, who's just won the NBA with Milwaukee Bucks. Same with Giannis and our own Jordan Mora. And you've got people like different types of people that are actually excelling. But when it comes to building as a team sports, they seem to struggle. But then, like the Tigers, this is not the end of the road for them. They've just played one game, okay, and against a French team that was like inspired on the day. Who says the Team USA cannot just go ahead and just cruise and win all the remaining games and just get to the medal podium? Listen, no doubt the Team USA are a bunch of wonderful stars. We can't just write them off with just one game. It's just one game. And I'm sure they will get back. They get their hearts together and probably think about it and say, guys, we are a team. We are world stars. Let's just go out there and express it. It's happened in the past, when you see them being overconfident in Olympics, especially, but they get the job done. And if there's a team that I think they probably might go ahead and probably do great. Personally, I actually want to see a final, the Tigers and the USA. I'm actually looking for, if I could write it, it will be a perfect scenario. I mean, Bam playing against the motherland, Nigeria, will be exciting in the Olympic finals.
Of course, Wale is actually predicting the Tigers, playing at the US team in the Olympic final. But Alpha, looking at the US team, is it a wrong selection for the coach? Because we know, prior to the Olympic Games, there are some speculation reports, right, left, and center, that the US coach didn't actually make the right selection of going to the Olympics.
I wouldn't say it was, a wrong selection or a right one. For the US team, every in the United States is eligible who is an American citizen can represent the country very well. The team is still made up of renowned stars. There's Kevin Durant is in the team, who was one of the best players. Even on current form is one of the best players in NBA. I mean, Giannis is there, so there are a lot of stars who have been tested. So I don't think it was a wrong selection. The selection was okay. Maybe you could make a case maybe for the inclusion of maybe someone like a LeBron James, maybe um, his colleague at the Lakers. Some of these guys were not there, but notwithstanding, I still think the US have a solid team, and maybe they're just going through one of those phases. Like Wally said, sometimes you could get overconfident, especially when you're good at something. It's just like, take for instance in football, the Brazilians. It's like when the Brazilians go to every competition, it's expected that they always come out on tops. So the US might have gotten ahead themselves, thinking that okay, they can easily go into these Olympics and blow out everything that comes their way. But right now, things don't seem to be actually going their way. But I really hope that they can really get their campaign really started in their next game. So I think the team is okay. I think the team is okay.
Of course, the US team is okay. That is actually no coming for Alpha, but they didn't actually get on the winning way in their first match. But a certain Czech Republic actually get to a winning ways. They defeated Iran 84 to 78 in their first opening Group A game right there in the Olympic Games. But away from basketball event, we head straight to gymnastics. Yes, you'll be surprised that we're talking about gymnastics at this point in time, where our very own Uche Ike has been sent packing from the Tokyo Olympic Games. But at this point in time, Nigerians actually react. They have actually reacted to Ike's participation in the Olympics. At this point in time, we're about to read their comment. Okay, of course, Nigeria started reacting uh, about Ike's.
Yeah.
I get
Oh.
Okay, we can actually read some comments right about now. This one is coming from Abdulaziz Ladan. He said he made his country proud by participating in an inspiration. Of course, a man in on our Facebook page. Of course, we'll go to our next comment. Of course, this is not the best. Okay, this is not the best time. Okay, this one is actually not coming from Fidelis. Fidelis said, "I celebrate you. You are indeed a hero of more than 200 million people in Nigeria. You stood up as a star, even though you did not win anything. You are still a hero. I celebrate you." Of course, that is actually not coming from Fidelis Okbaka Kalu on our Facebook page. Of course, Mina Anga is saying, congratulations to Ike, for getting to represent Nigeria in the Olympic Games for the first time in the history. Nigeria actually sent a representative when it comes to the gymnastic event. But Alpha, looking at this comment, actually pouring it from Nigerians, do you think this will actually motivate him for him to do his best during the next Olympics?
The comments have been very encouraging. That shows that a lot of Nigerians were watching and actually appreciate, the effort he has put in. Like I said, when we discussed about him yesterday, coming from the US and coming to fly the Nigerian flag, especially in the gymnastic. First of all, he qualified us for the gymnastic for the first time in the history of the Olympics. So I like someone said, it's a win for him on the personal level, whether you like it or not. He's an Olympian, and that will stay forever with him. So in my eyes, he's a win already, and I just hope that this will inspire and motivate a lot of young Nigerians who will want to, take up gymnastics as a sport, going further. So good one for him, and Nigerians really appreciate him, and that's a good one. I think this should serve as a motivation for him to even do better.
Dapo, looking at comments coming in from Nigerians, will this serve as a motivation for Ike Uche going forward? Of course, only Les is saying, okay, Dapo cannot hear me at this point in time, but only Les is saying, I appreciate you so much for participating. You are my champion. I'm proud of you. That one is actually not coming for only. Of course, what best? I say nice job anyways. Jamilu is saying, well done. He's a guy, not a girl. Well done, guy. We are proud of you. He's actually not saying. Of course, we have a whole lot of comments, pointing from the Facebook page at this point in time. This one is saying, you cannot go beyond your limits. He has done his best and hope others will see it as an inspiration. That is coming from Ike Ogapi. That is actually not coming from him. This one, Sanusi Suleiman, you said, you tried, my brother. Keep up the good work. That is actually not coming from Sanusi Suleiman. But at this point in time, going forward, should we actually encourage more of our kids at the grassroots level for them to actually go into gymnastics so that we can actually have good representation at the Olympics?
Every encouragement is needed. These young kids at the grassroots and coming up need all the encouragement from all quarters, especially from investors who will be investing in gymnastics. So we need a lot of encouragement, because moving forward, we need more and more people who can also fly the flag of Nigeria at the Olympics. I'm hoping that in the next Olympics in France, in another 3 years, we won't just be seeing one person representing Nigeria in the gymnastic event. And one good thing about gymnastics is there are close to about 10 medals up for grabs in different categories in the gymnastics event. So if we have more people participating in events like the gymnastics, our chances of having a higher medal haul will always be there. So in 2024 in France, using Uche Eke as an inspiration, I really expect that a lot of support, a lot of investment should go into, supporting people at the grassroots and in primary and secondary schools to really, take up gymnastics.
Of course, we need to actually encourage grassroots development when it comes to the gymnastic, because I know of a certain Tony Asuko who runs a gymnastic club here in Nigeria, and he has been doing his best to ensure that he gets to harvest talent from all over the country. They get to actually go for international competition. They have been to South Africa
Yes.
for quite some time now, and they have been able to win medals in that particular event, and they have brought a whole lot of awareness to the game
yes.
of gymnasts. Also, I also actually saw some young gymnasts during the Edo 2020 games. Talking about the National Sports Festival. The certain girl Stephanie, she won about 2 golds and 4 silver.
Girl.
Yes, a 10-year-old girl in different events, and she's expected to actually develop to a full-grown star in gymnastics. But we just want to wish the Gymnastic Federation and all the best. They should actually bring more competition so that athletes can compete, and we can actually have the best
more competition.
Of course, we can actually have the best for them to represent the country in the future tournament. But Wale, looking at the comments from Nigerians following the exit of Ike Uche, what will you actually make of those comments?
Very encouraging, very encouraging. The young man has inspired quite a lot of people. I mean, this is someone that, correct me if I'm wrong, this is probably his second international competition that he's going to be featuring in. The first one, I think, was in Cairo, Egypt in May, when he actually qualified for the Olympics. For someone to have come out of the US and, have not featured in probably a lot of international competitions before to get a bronze medal in
All-African Games.
Okay, at the All-African Games. Okay, and so in Morocco, and and now to Egypt and to the Olympics. I think he's done well for himself. He's going to go back home to Maryland in Baltimore and flaunt his credentials that, listen, I am an Olympian. It can only get better for him, and I think he's. It is something he's very passionate about, gymnastics. He will have learned from this Olympics. He will have enjoyed it, and he will have the opportunity of looking forward to the next one in Paris. So all he can do is just to go back to the basics and obviously train hard, try and qualify for the next one, and probably improve on what he has done. I must say he's an inspiration to younger Nigerians. And a lot of people will now be looking into the gymnastics just because of Uche. And I wish him all the very best. He has done well for himself.
Of course, just to read some few quotes at this point in time, I expect those fellows Nigerians who do not really know the sport of gymnastics to just understand that sticking and landing is very important. It's not about the still landing. It's about how much difficult you have in your routine. Difficulty means complex skills. If you see someone let go of the bar, for example, then flip twice and twist and catch it, that is a hard skill. But I do not want you guys to focus on understanding how the scores come about, but just know that anything from 13 to 15 is amazing, and that is actually coming from Ike at this point in time. But Dapo, if you're the father of Ike Uche at this point in time, or what would be your message for him, looking at the reactions from Nigerians?
Is not a stroll in the park for you to qualify to earn enough points.
Oh, okay. Dakwa is out. We hope that he gets to join us at the cost of the show. But Alpha, if you were actually the dad of Ike Uche, looking at the reaction from Nigeria at this point in time, what will be running through your mind, and what will you actually tell your son?
It's just to encourage him to continue. I mean, it's a nice showing. He did his best. Even coming from the statement he made, it's not, a stroll in the park. He did his best. It's his first Olympics, so I really feel that he can only get better as time goes on. And if I mean, it's his father, I will just encourage him, put in my best, invest, more in him financially and otherwise, and give him the moral support I need to give him to ensure that he actually goes far in his career, since that's what he has chosen to do. I mean, being a gymnast, anywhere in the world is really not an easy. The techniques, the mental awareness you need to do all these things. You really need a lot of flexibility, a lot of skill to be a gymnast. So I think it's a good one for him, and it's just to give him all the encouragement and support he needs. And I really think that in the next Olympics and going forward, even other competitions, that he'll really do very well and hopefully win Nigeria's first medal in the Olympics.
Of course, he will actually win the first Nigerian medal when it comes to the gymnastic at the Olympics. That is actually not coming up from Alpha at this point in time. We will head straight to a news coming from athletics, where Team Nigerian Athletics team actually stormed the Olympic Game Village ahead of their campaign, which the athletics event is starting on Friday, 30th of July. That will actually not be, for me, the biggest event when it comes to the Olympic Games. Blessing Okagbare, who will be attending her third Olympic, she's expected to lead Team Nigeria, other Team Nigeria, to the track and field event. About 11 athletes comprising of Oluwatobi Amuson, Ese Brume, Divine Oduduru, Grace Nwankocha will actually compete. The likes of also Enoch Olagoke, Ishakibi, Prince Okun George, Emmanuel Oje will actually will be competing in the track event. But looking at these guys, they actually moved from their team training ground to the Tokyo against Village. At this point in time, what should be running in the minds of the athletes going forward? Wale?
I was opportunity to talk to one of the coaches with the Nigerian team. I think it was yesterday, Coach Kayode Dada, and the players are actually focused. The athletes, they are actually focused. They are looking forward to it, and they're enjoying themselves. They have had occasions to also watch some of the events that are going on. Most of them are actually experienced. Don't forget Divine, Blessing, Essay. They are experienced. They've been to championships, tons of them. And so they're actually really looking forward to that. Very relaxed, It's unfortunate that the fans are not going to be there to be cheering them up. That excitement when you want to at the start for any event, you probably want the fans clapping for you, or probably want that silence before you run. It's going to be missing. But the Nigerian team do have a strong field this time around. Forget about the fact that we have problems in the AFN and whatever. But I think the guys are actually very concentrated. The feel from the camp is they're ready to give their all for Nigeria, and I don't expect anything less at all from them.
Of course, Dapo, looking at the team, looking at the individual events and the relay team, which athlete or which of the relay team are you confident that we can actually pick a medal?
Well, with what they did right here in Lagos during the trials, I'm optimistic that at least Nigeria should be able to do something, especially in the women's relays 4x1 with Blessing Okagbare there. So I'm optimistic. But the most important thing is about the psychology of the team. The psyche of the athletes should be at the top level. It shouldn't be what it is before they left. A lot of controversy, a lot of crisis, and that actually runs against the aspiration of athletes, and I don't want that to happen there. The athletes also, they have experience, just like Wale Omogun said. They've been to championship before. They've been to Diamond League. A lot of them, a lot of international world championships also. Okagbare, this is her third Olympics, and I believe she wants to make a mark. She will be competing in the 100 and also possibly in the 200 and also the 4x100 relay. So I believe that these athletes come together, they will do something positive for Nigeria. The same thing for the other athletes in the other events also. In the hurdles, we have a chance. We have a chance to do something positive and be happy with the result eventually, because the Nigerian athletes in that event is about the first three in the world at the moment. I'm talking about Amoshon. She's going there. Even the International Athletics Federation has made their own projection that there's a possibility that Amoshon will be the winner in this edition of the Olympics. But we don't want to bank on that. What we are banking on is the performance on the track. And we also want to beg them not to make any errors. We've been seeing tons and tons of errors. We saw the number of errors at the London Olympics in 2012. We're supposed to do far better than what we did. But this time around, please, the coaches will ensure no errors on the tracks, no errors in the batting exchange, no errors in everything they are doing. They should perfect their arts and do Nigeria proud.
Of course, looking at Divine, he didn't actually know. He didn't actually come to the country. He didn't actually come for the national chair as well. We know he will actually participated in the 100 meters and 200 meters event. Looking at his training in the United States of America, where he has been training for so long at this point in time, are you confident that he can actually deliver medals for the country?
Yes, I'm confident that he will do well. Like I say all the time, I really don't like getting ahead of myself to talk about medals all the time. But I really hope he'll do well. If he can deliver a medal, that'll be fine. Training in the US has been excellent and wonderful for him. He has access to the best of facilities over there, best of coaches. So I think these things will really, boost his confidence and come into play, and should give him an edge, going into the track and field event, which begins properly on Friday. And we also are expecting a lot from Blessing. I mean, every time she's participating in an athletics event, it looks like the weight of the country is always on her. So big things are being expected from her all the time. So I really hope that as the track and field events begin properly on Friday, that these athletes will at least give us some fine and excellent representation at the Olympics.
Of course, we should actually keep our finger crossed that the athletes will actually give us medals at the Olympics. We're expecting them to do the country proud. They will be actually be competing in different events. I was talking about 14 different events in the track and field event, where about 19 athletes will be donning the green and white color in the Olympics. We just want to wish them all the best at this point in time. Yes, the big question for today: can the Tigers actually defeat Italy, Germany, for them to actually progress to the next round in the Olympic Games? You can actually go straight to our Facebook page and our YouTube page for you to actually send your comment, and we get to actually get to read them as you keep them coming. Of course, you can actually react on their match against the Australian side. We know they were actually defeated in their first match by a well-attacking Australian team, and we are hoping that the Mark Brown-led team can actually put that disappointing defeat behind them, and for them to progress and see if they can able to defeat the likes of Germany and Italy, for them to secure that place in the next round. At this point in time, we go straight to the news coming from the IOC, that they are actually at this point in time urging all the athletes to ensure that they obey the rules of COVID-19 right there. They should actually get to use their masks always. If they are not competing, they should use their masks always, because the uncertainty actually hit Tokyo because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But Dapo, what do you make of these events going on despite the COVID-19 pandemic, getting to go up right there in the city of Tokyo?
Yes, the games must go on. What we just have to do all the protocols, all the COVID-19, the preventive protocols, and the athletes are actually doing it. When they got there initially, we had one or two athletes testing positive, and also an official of the Olympic Committee. But they are in isolation now. They are receiving treatment, and athletes who actually came close to them also are in isolation. I'm just praying that their competition time should get after the isolation, and they should have enough time to train and regain the energies to compete and also go for medals. So I'm praying for them. Actually, Japan they cannot do without hosting these games. They've waited enough. It cost millions and millions, billions of dollars. And if you don't do the Olympics, it's not going to augur well with athletes across the world. So what they've done, that what they're supposed to do, they've ensured all preventive measures are adhered to. You must obey the preventive measures, and that is what everybody is doing. They are doing it, and they are doing it very, very well. I believe that with the spread of the virus will not go beyond what we saw from the first or second day of the Olympics.
Of course, the virus will not go beyond what we actually saw during the first and the second day of the Olympic. But Alpha, at this point in time, will the COVID-19 affect the quality of competition in the games?
Yes, to some extent, it has even affected already. In my opinion, because first of all, there are no spectators. Like I said, when you participate in sports, the presence of spectators gives you a boost. You sort of feed off the energy of the spectators. But in this case, the spectators are even absent. So it has affected, So, and when you're participating in sports and you don't even have people cheering you up, screaming your name and all of that, it affects your performance. I mean, you can't compare a performance where you have spectators with the one in which you do not have spectators. So, coming from the IOC, I think it's a timely advice. All the athletes need to really take precautions, because it won't be nice to have a situation where, in the course of the Olympic Games, the numbers of COVID-19, casualties are increasing, or cases are going up by the day. It won't really augur well and speak well of the Olympics. After all, a lot of the Japanese citizens didn't even want the Olympics to be held in the first place. So it would be nice if all of the athletes take all these precautions, do all the necessary things that, they need to do to enable themselves stay safe, and also their fellow athletes to stay safe also. So I think they really need to be careful and, take it easy.
Of course, you really need to be careful and take it easy, because if you want to actually get to win medals and compete very well, you must ensure that you are in a good state of health. But Dapo, let me actually come to you at this point in time. With the COVID pandemic actually affect the level of competitiveness between the athletes?
No, it will not, except for those who test positive. If you test positive, there is the possibility that they must administer some medications to you that will slow you down. Your body character, your body psychology, your body chemistry, body physiology, every other thing will not be what it used to be. There was a particular Junior Olympics they were supposed to travel to a particular year. Nigeria had to stay out. Nigeria had to boycott, because the IOC insisted that all the athletes must be given injection. And once you receive that injection, for the next 1 week, you cannot compete. You will be feeling sick, you will be feverish, and you cannot reach your optimum in terms of any form of any kind of performance. So except for those who test positive, the rest are very, very safe. And that's why we kept telling them, please keep safe. Keep safe. I saw one of our athletes, the badminton player, taking a snapshot with Djokovic in Japan, and he was not wearing the face mask. I was
Yes.
surprised that such shot was allowed. Such shots you should not take risk. You won't say, "Oh, I came here wholeheartedly. I came here wholly. Nothing is actually happening to me. I want to take it." Don't take the risk. And these players, they say have games. They have games tomorrow. I don't know what will happen, but as it is, they've been tested and they are all negative. So nothing to fear for. The athletes, all the ones that are tested, negative, those ones they are actually in isolation. I'm sure very soon they will get well. But I'm praying that their event should be towards the end of the Olympics. Because if not, they will not have the kind of strength, they will not have the kind of mentality, the body strength, and everything will not be what it used to be, because it takes time for you to structure your body to compete and win in a competition as big as the Olympics. So by and large, it will not affect them. Keep safe. Everywhere you go, observe the preventive measures. It is very, very important. Mostly, I just want to take a quick photograph. Let me remove my face masks, this and that. You are not supposed to do that.
Of course, you ensure that you actually keep fit and also keep stay safe, because we right here in Nigeria, we are actually getting to pray for you guys to actually do the nation proud at the Olympic Games. But for now, we'll go for a short break, and when we'll come back, we are going to be previewing the games that Team Nigeria will be competing in right there in Tokyo tomorrow. Don't go nowhere. Stay with us. Okay, welcome from that short break is to the Olympic in 120 minutes right there on the Leadership podcast, where we are giving you all the biggest sports stories right from Team Nigeria and other teams that are actually competing in the Olympic Games at this point in time. But looking at the Olympic Day match day games day 4 right there in the Olympics, where Nigeria will participating in 4 different events. Will be competing in the participating event, talking about the singles, also the men's double will be competing, and also taekwondo event will actually go live, where our own Elizabeth she will be competing in that particular 67th kg in the 16th round. Also, table tennis, our own girl, Edem Effiong, will be battling against the US team. But let's go straight to the first one, where our own girl I was talking about, Dorcas Adeshoko, she will be competing in the badminton singles event right there in Tokyo. Dapo, you have seen Dorcas Adeshoko, getting to play there in Lagos. Are you confident that she can actually, beat her opponents for her to, move to the next round?
Well, there's a possibility, but there's a possibility because she's not. I've not just seen her play in Lagos. I've seen her play, at the African level. She's one of the best in Africa. She's about, Africa's representative in Tokyo. So I'm expecting her to actually do well in tomorrow's game. I spoke with the Federation president yesterday, talking about Frank Obi, and he was optimistic that they've done enough work. They've done everything that should be done for her to win a game and also go to the medal zone in the Olympics. So we are hoping, we are optimistic that she will go there to do something good. They got there. They did not actually start well. The preparation was not too smooth because fund support from the ministry did not come at the right time, and getting sponsorship from private companies and other organization in Nigeria and even Africa generally has not been easy. But they did what they were supposed to do, and she is in the right character now, ready to compete, ready to perform at her optimum, and also win a game to move forward.
Alpha, you have seen Dorcas, getting to perform at the African biggest stage. She has won gold medal in virtually all the African, tournament. Talking about the All African Games, the African Championship, the National Championship. Are you confident that she can actually match up our opponent in that particular opening game in the badminton event for her?
She should. Dorcas is a tried and tested player. Won gold in the African Championship. So the Olympics, yes, it's a step higher, but she should be able to, come out on top against her match, which comes up, I think, by 4 a.m. So we'll be watching down closely and rooting for her. So, but I really expect Dorcas to really come out victorious on that one and progress to the next round.
Of course, we expect Dorcas to actually get to put in her best performance for her to ensure that she gets to win her first game in the Olympics. But looking at our comments, actually pouring in our Facebook page, where we'll have Adebayo Amodu is saying the Tigers will definitely bounce back. We are hoping for them to actually bounce back in that particular one. Also, BC Abiodun is saying Nigerians are proud of you. You are in our heart. I love you guys. Thank you for that particular comment. But looking at the men's doubles, Dapo, you saw that we lost our first match against host, talking about Japan in the men's doubles event at the likes of Godwin and Anulua. At this point in time, they'll be playing a Denmark team, who are a formidable team, because they actually won their first match. against the ROC guys. But at this point in time, they will be playing a certain dense team. Are you confident that these guys can actually, come back from the disappointing defeats and, cruise to victory when the games start?
Yeah, we what no, I know about the players. I know that we have issues. We have issues concerning the opposition from Asia, from Japan, China, Korea. It's like they are nemesis of African teams. So it was not easy that first game. It was expected that at least they would go there to try their best, but their best was not, good enough. But against a European team, I'm not. The players are also not scared. The technical team, they are not afraid that they will go all out. They will go all out to attack the European team. We're talking about Denmark. I see Nigeria winning. I see them, recording their first, victory in that event. I'm not scared when it is European. No big deal. But the Asians, especially the Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans, they are nemesis, and we're trying to up, just like the president of the federation said yesterday, he's trying his best to take Nigeria and also Africa above the stiff challenges coming from Japan. He made mention of a particular point yesterday. He said for the Japanese, for the Chinese, and the Koreans, they eat, they sleep, they wake playing the game. But it's not like that, for Nigerians. It's also not like that for most African, teams in the sport. But they are planning. They are planning to take us above board. Just like the Japanese and the Asians that you talked about, they said they are well motivated. Sponsorship is there. They live the game, and even the family members of players from that, from that part of the world they are only seen 2 months out of 12 months in a year. But it's not like that for us. But for the Asians, I give it to them. But for the Europeans, let's go to the court and play the game.
Alpha, should we actually go to the court and play the games, or we should actually sit back and pray that God should actually give them the victory tomorrow?
We need to go to the court and play the game, because just praying won't solve the problem. So we really need to be out there on the court to get the job done. And I really hope that by when we come back here tomorrow to do a review of the games played, that we will be celebrating victories tomorrow, not like the other day when we came here and it was a harvest of defeats for Team Nigeria. I really hope that when we come back here tomorrow, it will be celebration.
Of course, when we come back tomorrow, we are hoping that we are going to celebrate the victory of Dorcas Adeshokon in the women's singles event, and also the men's doubles event, the likes of Bayori, Juwon, and Godwin. We are hoping that they will actually get to defeat their Denmark counterpart in that particular match. But from badminton at this point in time, we will head straight to taekwondo. We are talking about taekwondo at this point in time, where Elizabeth Anachol is the Nigerian first Nigerian woman in 16 years to qualify for the Olympic Games, and she will be actually taking a Turkish player in our first round of 16 in the Olympic Games. I know I have followed Elizabeth right from the time she was, seeking for funds for her to, put herself into shape for her to actually, qualify from the continent to represent Nigeria in the Olympic Games. She's a young lad, no doubt about it. And for me, I don't think we should expect a lot from her at this point, because this will be her first Olympics that she will be competing in. But at this point in time, Dapo, what will be your expectation when Elizabeth gets on the court to actually get to fight her first match in the Olympics?
Well, my expectation for her on the mat is very, very high, but I'm not expecting too much. The fact that it is her first Olympics, but also I have hope also from the fact that she's been groomed by Chika Chukwumerije, an Olympic, bronze medalist, and he believes so much in her. Once you check, when we see her stand, she's very tall. I've not seen a lot of taekwondoists, having that kind of height. But I believe so much that with the support, with the guidance, and the technical know-how from Chika Chukwumerede, she should be able to do something positive in her fight. I'm not expecting too much because she's not experienced. She has the skill, she has the energy, and she has the zeal to also do well. But let us give her the benefit of doubt. Go there, do your best. Whatever happens, we take it that way, and we continue to plan for better things later. You don't have to. Don't they shouldn't put so much expectations on her. She's very young. And she's going to the highest stage at that age. At that tender age, you must be very careful. The game. This game is about psychology. If you expect her to do what a 29-year-old taekwondoist would do on the mat, if you expect her to do it, you are not helping matters at all. So they must take things easy for her, give her all the encouragement but most importantly, try your best on the mat and win for Nigeria.
Of course, Alpha, this will be her first time, competing at the Olympics, and for me, she'll be a little bit, jittery on the first time on the mat on the biggest stage in the world. We know that, as rightly said, Chika will actually be, coaching her. He has won the Olympic bronze medal, so he know what it takes to actually, get to that level. But what what will be your advice for Elizabeth at this point?
Just for her to, keep calm. This is her first Olympics, first major championships, so she has a lot of time to really grow and develop to, be a medal winning, Olympian in the future. But I mean, for her age, qualifying for the gymnastics event, I mean, this is the first time in 16 years that we'll be having a female, taekwondoist in the Olympics. So she has done well already by qualifying from the Nigerian rounds to the African rounds, and now she is in the Olympics. So tomorrow we'll be looking forward to that matchup, with her Turkish opponent, and whatever the outcome, of that encounter, I'll take it as it comes, because I mean she's a very young girl. She has many years ahead of her. So whatever happens, she'll take this as as an experience, and use it for to step up to her next level. So good one for her.
Of course, let's keep our finger crossed. We ensure that she gets to beat our opponent, and for her to qualify to the next round, so that we can actually see her, competing at the world biggest stage for us. But at this point in time, we move. Head straight to table tennis, where on I want to say last lady standing when it comes to the table tennis event. Talking about Edem of Young, she will be competing against a US athlete, which is very, very good. We saw her in her first match. She actually defeated her counterpart 4-1 for her to cruise to the second round. At this point in time, that ball, a certain Edem Ofyong is our only last hope when it comes to the women's single. Do you see her getting to upset these highly attacking US athletes?
Well, nothing to worry. At this level with Ofyong Edem, she knows how to play the game. She knows how to compete. It's not about just skills. In the last two Olympics, she has been the one, helping us to go, get to the third round and even close to the medal zone. She has been the one, not actually. Funke has just been there helping us to qualify and helping Nigeria to set record, helping Africa to set record, and even the world to set record of the highest participants in the Olympics. But for Ofyong Edem, she's always there winning her games. When the other girls, when the other ladies are losing, they are not doing rightly. She has always been our last woman standing, and she's still there. She's still very sharp at the club level, very sharp at the World Championship level. This time around at the Olympics, she will continue to be sharp. For this one against an opponent from the USA, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria will definitely win. that game. Nigeria will definitely win that game, and we are moving to the next round. If it were to be an opponent from China, then I can be skeptical and say, let the best player wins. But I can tell you categorically that Offiong Edem, the Offiong Edem I've known for some time now, with a high level kind of play, high level kind of competitive. She plays to win. She does not play to impress anybody. That has been a game, and that is just the best character for any athlete that will go to the highest level, and that is what Offiong Edem is.
Of course, she plays to win. That is what athletes will actually need for them to go up to at the highest level. Do you see her winning against this US athlete?
Possibly. Like Dapo said, if he was against, one of the Asians who we know that, table tennis is their specialty, it could have been, be a bit jittery, but, not to downplay, her opponent, Lily Zhang, although she's Asian American, she has some bit of, Chinese ancestry, so she won't be a pushover or, all the same. So, but I really expect to really come out victorious in this one. So because, like you said, she's our last hope currently in the singles event. So the hopes of millions of Nigerians will be hard to really serve this this singles game all for us. So we'll be looking out for that one too. It's in the early hours of tomorrow, so we'll be looking out forward to that one. I hope that she scales through so that at least we'll have a representative going into the next round of the singles table tennis event.
Of course, she is the only Nigerian standing in the table tennis event at this point. We hope that she gets to defeat her US counterpart and progress to the third round. But at this point in time, we are talking about the welfare of the athlete right now. Dapo, we know that you need to actually motivate the athletes for them to actually give in their best for them to win their match and also progress to the next level. We know that welfare is very, very key to athletes' performance at this point in time. But I want to ask this question, Dapo. Should athletes be looking at the welfare for them to compete very well, or they should be actually be competing for their fatherland?
Side by side, they should actually get some motivation when it comes to finances, and also play for their fatherland also, because from their background, most of these are athletes. They are from very humble homes. They are the breadwinners of their families, and the families with demands for finances is always on them, especially when they go for international competitions. I can tell you categorically that most times when Nigeria don't do well in international competitions, the pressure is always coming from parents of athletes representing Nigeria. They are always pressurizing them. Are you not going to send money for feeding? Are you not going to do this? Are you not going to do that? So it's a very difficult situation. But I want to implore the sport ministry, because mostly for the very, very first time in the history of Nigeria's participation in the Olympics, this is the first time that almost all the athletes were adopted. They were adopted. The Adopt initiative, launched by the sport minister, was very, very successful. So most of these athletes were adopted by state government, by multinationals, then philanthropic individuals also. The funds launched for these athletes, please, they should make them available so that these athletes will be well motivated. Nigerian athletes, motivations come from funds, comes from money, which is against international rules. You are not supposed to motivate athletes with cash. Don't let them hear when they're participating. You can let them know after their participation that you can actually give them whatever you want to give them. But when you talk about money, they lose this concentration, they lose this focus. But this time around, when they are talking about their dues, they are talking about their bonuses, their match allowances, please get these bonuses to these athletes so that they will continue to do well for us. We are just starting. I don't expect the athlete to start agitating for allowances at this point in time, because they are definitely going to get their allowances. And most importantly, almost all of them were adopted, because we have those who are called the elite athletes. The elite athletes, almost all the elite athletes were actually adopted by one philanthropist, multinational organization, banks, private individuals. All these were actually done to motivate that we don't want issues of allowances militating against the performances of the athletes. And I thought the minister is in Tokyo, is taking charge of the situation, and I'm sure by tomorrow all the athletes will get back to full performance and they can focus on doing well for Nigeria and leave the issue of allowances and bonuses after they must have been paid, they must have been sorted out.
Of course, Alpha, at this point in time, do you think that the athletes should be given what is due to them, or they should compete first and at the end of the day they get what is actually not due to them?
It depends on the kind of agreement they had with the ministry, while in camp or before they left. If it was agreed that you are going to get some sort of allowances before you compete or after, so but there's some stories making the rounds. We're yet to confirm that. I think if there was something like that, a sort of agreement, it would be best if the ministry goes ahead to pay this money. Then if it was that, okay, after you compete, you come out, we'll pay you, then fine. But, going into a major event and a few days into the event, and you're hearing stories of, welfare concerning the athletes, this is a major distraction, So, and it's really not, it does not augur well for the country. And Africa is always, a culprit when it comes to this kind of things. You see athletes going into a major competition, and the next thing you're hearing is athletes complaining about not being paid, and all this sort of things seem to dampen the morale of the athletes in these competitions. And of course the foreign athletes will not complain of these things like that before, like I said, because a lot of these foreign athletes play in one club or the other, so they are adequately remunerated by these clubs. So most of them see competing for their countries as a thing of pride. But the reverse is the case here in Nigeria, where a lot of these athletes, once this Olympics is over and they come back, they might not have any chance of making any other income except they are going for another competition again and they are selected. So it's really a dicey situation for them. So I really hope that this issue will be sorted out before this, athletes will go into, the participation in this next event, because this is a big distraction and this is not needed at this time. At this point in time, we need 100% focus. And that's the only way that we can hope that these athletes will do something good, at least give the country a good name and a good image out there in Tokyo. So I really appeal to the sports ministry, the federations over there in Tokyo to see that this issue of allowances are resolved.
Of course, that one we have seen in some cases where it has been reported that they get to pay the home-based athletes lower than what they actually don't get to pay the foreign-based athlete. But going to this kind of event, talking about the Olympics, should it be the same rate of the sports ministry getting to pay the home-based athletes and the foreign-based athletes?
Normally, when it comes to Team Nigeria, the situation is different. The elite, we have the elite athletes, those are top athletes that wins medals for Nigeria and are also medal prospects. And most of the time, most cases, they are based in Europe. They get $10,000 training grants. That does not come to athletes in Nigeria, and that is always paid to them. It's always paid to athletes before major competitions like the Olympics. But for the Olympics participation, the remuneration, style is the same. It is uniform, and with the style of the Team Nigeria that I know of, immediately you win, you get a winning bonus. If you win medals, you get remunerated for it. For gold, up to the last Olympics, for gold it is $20,000. For silver it is $15,000. Then for bronze it is $10,000. You get it on the spot or you get it in the evening of the day of participation. But for camp allowances, it is uniform. It is the same amount they pay to all the athletes. So there's no difference. The only difference is they actually come before the start of the competition, where athletes every month they get $10,000 training grants, and they actually merit it. They are the best. They are the best in their various sport. The elite athletes, not all the athletes, they are categorized and they know themselves. If you are at the highest level of participation, you get the $10,000 monthly training grant, and they send this money to them in their various bases in Europe, and they've been getting it. There's been no kind of value default. They are all getting it, and that is why they are in their best character going into these Olympics. The home base, they know their limits. They know that when they get to the Olympics, it is uniform remuneration for all of them. They have their daily camping allowance. They have their winning bonuses. So you don't expect that when you don't win your game, another colleague wins, you think they will not pay. They will pay, and that is the issue. Normally, what the athletes may be clamoring for is possibly an increase in the daily camping allowances. And it varies. The one for athletes is not as much as what they pay to the coaches, because the coaches, they do the bulk of the work. They take the pains, they take everything. So athletes, I'm sure now, after the agitation today, I'm sure before the end of the day, the sport ministry will have taken charge of everything. And sometimes transferring funds from Nigeria to outside community, to the European community or to Asia, it takes a process. It takes a process. You cannot transfer more than a certain amount of money. And they will have explained to these athletes, please wait for some days. Let us get the bulk of this money transferred to us, following the CBN rules, following international monetary transfer, rules and regulations. We cannot contravene international laws. So they must have told them, because I've always been a part of the team into most international competitions. So it may be delay from the Accountant General's office or from the sport ministry, and I'm sure that delay will be sorted out. In most cases, under 24 hours, such delays are always sorted out. Nigeria, in most cases, in a number of competitions, number of World Championship, Commonwealth Games, Olympics, All African Games that I have been to, they actually applied for there's a language they put there for Nigeria to take as much as possible, but you must state the amount you want to transfer bigger than the international regulations. I'm sure between now and tomorrow, that thing they will give them a waiver to go beyond amount that you're supposed to transfer internationally. It happens only in sports. And I'm sure it will not be different this time around. I'm sure by tomorrow everything will be sorted out, and all the athletes will be happy in camp, and they will go into the various events very, very happy, ready to win laurels for Nigeria.
Of course, we hope that they will actually be given what is due of them from the ministry for them to actually put up an impressive performance when they fly the colors, when they fly the country's flag at the Olympic Games. At this point in time, we have a video coming from Odunayo Adekuroye. That video, we just want you to actually to see that video, and after that video, we'll just talk a little about the video. Then I will move straight to the medal table. Alpha, you actually saw this video. We know that the role of coach to an athlete is not overemphasized due to the fact that they get to actually tell them what they need to do at every point in time. But looking at that particular video, we know it was Purity who is the coach of Odunayo Adekuroye at this point in time. What is the significant role of a coach to an athlete?
Clearly the coach was, spurring her on, giving her plenty of motivation, so, and it really spurred her on. And to make it more interesting, the coach actually communicated with her in a language she felt to understand
Yes,
better.
of
So
course, and our opponents will not
no, of
understand.
course, so I mean, it seemed maybe like at the point to the opponent, like maybe what were these people chanting, So, and I think it really worked magic. And at the end of the day, she eventually emerged victorious in that particular round. So, the role of a coach in this kind of situations can never be overemphasized. I mean, good one coming. And I hope that as she begins her event, that we'll see more of this, kind of performances coming from her.
Dapo, should we adopt a local language when it comes to international events for us to actually get to win matches just like the one we just saw between Adekoroye and our opponent?
Opponent. It's very, very interesting when you use the local language to give instructions to your athletes. For Adekuroye, the coach was actually, he came from Ondo State. She started with the coach, and even at the highest level, he is still with the athletes, and she's performing very well. I've been to the Commonwealth Games before in a boxing event when the coach will be shouting out, Nigerian coach will be shouting out instruction in Yoruba, Magba fun nikun, fun lese, fun. And at the end of the day, most of these athletes, won their medals. Aside from athletics, at the last edition of the Commonwealth Games, Nigeria won majority of our medals in boxing. And, it was conducted, the fights were conducted in the local language, Yoruba language. And they understand better. Even in table tennis, for Offiong Edem, there's a particular coach, Coach Edem. He's always there, speaking the Calabar language to Offiong Edem, shouting out instruction. And she listens and she makes those moves and she's getting on. And now it have continued. Offiong again is at the highest point of table tennis in Africa, even in the world. And all their coaching techniques were actually communicated to them in local languages. And they've been doing well. If they can do it, also when you get there, you see the Germans, they speak in their language. You don't even know what they're saying. The Russians also, the coaches communicate to them in Russian language, and you don't know what they're saying. Even Spanish, you don't know what they're saying. So if these coaches, especially the ones that actually groom these athletes, let them always go. Provide extra funds. It is not too much. Let these coaches always go with these athletes, especially when the athletes have actually gotten to the highest one. If you have attained the status of elite athletes, let their coaches actually started with them in their local languages. Let them go with them, and you will continue to get successes.
Of course, let's continue to actually use our own local, languages to communicate to our athletes so that we can actually get success. That is actually coming from Dakpo to regards to that video we just played. Of course, we'll move all the way to football, where matches that was actually not decided in the early hours today. What we saw the likes of the Egyptian national Egyptian under-23 team, they lost to Argentina 1-0 in that particular fixtures. While France defeated South Africa, that is another African representative at the Olympic 4-3. The likes of New Zealand and Honduras defeated New Zealand 3-2 in that particular match. Also, another African representative talking about Cote d'Ivoire, even despite going man down, they actually drew against Brazil 0-0. Australia fell to Spain 1-0. Japan were 2-1 winners over Mexico. Romania fell to Korea Republic 4-0 in that particular match. Then Germany came back from that disappointing defeat in the hands of Brazil. They actually defeated Saudi Arabia 3-2 in that particular futures alpha. Looking at all these match day results in the ongoing Olympic Games in the football event, which of these match results was actually a pick for you?
Of course, the Brazil Cote d'Ivoire match. That was a match I was really looking forward to. And, the Ivorians, really did not disappoint at all. They held their own against, the almighty Brazil, as they say, A lot of people were expecting the Brazilians to come out and, whitewash the Ivorians, especially with the way they took the Germans to the cleaners. A lot of people hope that were expecting to for the Brazilians to come out to really put the Ivorians to the sword, but it didn't happen. And kudos to the Ivorians. They held their own against the Brazilians, and at the end of the day, it was a goalless draw. Tight game it was, and I really think the Ivorians will really go far in the competition. Of course, another game that was of interest too was Germany versus Saudi Arabia. Yes, the Germans won the Saudi Arabians, but like they say, they are no longer minnows in football. Some years past, you wouldn't expect a Saudi Arabia, for instance, to match up with the Germans because that game ended 3 goals to 2 in favor of the Germans. So, but the Saudi Arabians really played well for them to be able to even maintain that kind of scoreline. So it shows that football is gradually changing all across the world. So no team is an easy team any longer. So I must say the Germans even escaped. It was almost like a narrow escape kind of thing for them because the Saudi Arabians really gave them a serious test. And with the way it is now, the group is quite open now. The Germans have 3 points, the Brazilians. So yeah, 3 points. The Brazilians have 4 points. So it's a very open group. So but at the end of the day, I really hope that the Brazilians and of course, let's give our African brothers some support. I really hope that the Ivorians will make it through. After all, they have paraded a good team. We have Amad Diallo of Manchester United in that team. Eric Bailey of Manchester United is also in that team. So it's a solid team, and I think the Ivorians have all it takes to really go far in the football event in the Tokyo Olympics.
Of course, looking at the standings in Group D, Brazil are the group leaders in that particular with 4 points from 2 games, followed by our own Ivory Coast. They're in 4 points from 2 games. Germany also are in third position with 3 points from 2 games, while the Saudi Arabians are the actually whipping boys in that particular group. They are yet to actually record a point in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. But Dr. looking at all the results that you have that we just showed now, what will be your pick for you in the football event?
Well, the Brazilians are doing very, very well. They are very, very consistent, and I'm sure they will be looking up to winning the gold at the end of the day. They perfected their strategies, and they are very, very consistent. I see the Brazilians going all the way, though it may be too early now, but I can see them going all the way to win the gold. And also the Ivorians coming from Africa. They are doing very, very well, and I hope that they will get to the knockout stage. When you get to the quarterfinals, anything can actually happen from there. A lot of people I immediately watch these football games. They kept asking questions. What happened to the Nigerian team, both male and female? What happened?
Of course.
What happened? And I remember the Beijing Olympics in 2008. I was winning, aside from what happened at Atlanta '96. I was winning the silver medal in the football event, and also in Rio, we were able to pick the bronze. When it's difficult for Nigeria to win any medal, after we've tried Okagbari, all our medal hopefuls, when everything has actually failed, the only team we relied on and they actually performed was football. Because we have the talent, we have the players across the world. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to the team for them not to qualify. If we have qualified, even when everybody will be saying, I'm not sure Nigeria will come home with the medal from Tokyo, we will be rest assured that at least football will give us something. But it's not happened this time around. It's not happening. The men did not qualify, did not cross the African stage. The same thing with the women. Well, by and large, with the way the Ivorians are playing, I'm just praying for them to continue to up their game. Aside from Nigeria winning the gold in football, we've also seen Cameroon doing the same thing. But I cannot make any prediction to say this Ivorian team will go, that far. But let them just, put up a befitting performance, but especially against, the kind of opponents we are seeing. We've seen modern football, modern international football played at the Euro Cup, and we are seeing similar kind of pattern at this in Tokyo. So it's going to be difficult for the Ivorians, though they have their own players too. They are very good in eighth grade, football, because they have world class academies in Cote d'Ivoire. So by and large, the Brazilians, for me, it's going to be difficult for the Ivorians, but let them just put in their best and go home with their heads high.
Of course, they should do their best and go home with their heads high. But just looking at the group standing in Group C, we see the Spanish team are leading the pack with 4 points from 2 games. Australia are in second position with 3 points from 2 games. Argentina are in third position with 3 points from 2 games, while Egypt, one of the African representative, are just having 1 point from 2 games. Do you see Egypt, getting to make it out of this group that has the likes of Spain, Australia, Argentina?
Tough one, because so far they seem to be at the bottom of the group currently. The Spanish guys have been, in fine form. Same for, the Australians, surprisingly. Australia is not really known to be a big, footballing nation per se, but
of course, but they are doing well.
Yes, that's why I'm going to. The under 20 side have done excellently so far in the Olympics. So which is surprising that they are even second in a group that has Argentina. So but for the Egyptians, I really hope that they put their acts together and step up their game. In recent times, Egypt hasn't really been doing well in international football. I really don't know what the problem is. But when it comes to, their club football on the continent, they are always, like powerhouses. But, going for international competitions, they, always seem to, fall a bit short. So, but I think they need to win their next game for them to have any hope of making it out of this group that has the likes of Spain, Argentina, and Australia. If they can win their next game, then they should have a little glimmer of hope of making it to the next round.
Of course, making it to the next round as one of the best losers in the competition. But looking at Group B, where we have the likes of Republic of Korea, they are leading the pack with 3 points. It's just so it's very interesting in this group of Group B because all the teams, all the countries have 3 points each. It's just goal different, separating the countries. We have Honduras; they are in second. Spot with 3 points with 0 goal advantage, and also New Zealand they are in third position with no goal advantage, while Romania are in the first position with -3 goals. So it shows that this particular Group B will actually go to the wire in the last group game, because we know all the teams will be actually be battling and be scrambling for points for them to actually get to qualify to the next stage. But Dapo, looking at Korea, Honduras, New Zealand, Romania, which 2 countries do you see making it out of that group?
Well, I see Korea. The Koreans are very fast on the ball, and they are very, very attacking. They are playing attacking football. I see them, coming out from that group. And also, I'm looking at New Zealand. It may sound very odd, but it is the same way, the same kind of playing pattern they play with Switzerland, and they've been following the recruitment pattern of Switzerland, what Switzerland used far back as 2009 when they came to Nigeria, to win the under-17 World Cup against Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah, under-17 World Cup against Nigeria. So New Zealand, they've also been using that, recruitment, pattern, picking players from across the world. They are not just using players from their country. They are picking talents from across the world. They pick one here and there, and they put them together to form a very formidable, national team. So I see those two countries coming out at the end of the day from this group.
Of course, Alpha, what is your pick between these countries?
I think Korea, the way it's looking, the funny thing about this group is it's a group of nations that are not really known to be big football playing nations. I mean, Korea, Honduras, New Zealand, but so far so good. It's been the most interesting group. I mean, all at the end of second games, all teams
3
are
points.
all have same number of points. But I really think the Koreans should go ahead and top this group.
Of course, in Group A, we have host actually leading the pack with 6 points with plus 2 goals. Also, they were followed by Mexico with 3 points with plus 2 goals. France also are in the third spot with 3 points from 2 games with minus 2 goals. While the South Africans are the whipping boys in that particular group. But looking at things, is it done and dusted for the South African team?
Except they with their last game, which they are now condemned to win their last game because they've played 2 games, didn't draw any, lost 2 games, and they have 0 points for now.
Yes.
I mean, the surprise package for me in this group happens to be Japan. Well, maybe you might say, okay, yes, they are hosting, but I mean, they are topping the group, and France, which is supposedly,
France,
supposedly
Mexico,
yes, supposedly a big football playing nation like France, are even in 3rd place.
Yes.
But I really think the South Africans will need to win their last game if they should have any chance of qualifying as one of the best losers. But as it stands, Japan are home and dry.
Yes.
In this group for now, they are home and dry, and
I
mean they are home, so no surprises there. But for the French team, well, they might make it up as the one of the best losers, hopefully. Also the Mexico too have 3 points, so it's not done and dusted yet. The only team that seems to have qualified from this group are the Japanese. But for the South Africans, if they lose their next game, then it's over for them. Even a draw won't do it. So they just have to get 3 points for them to stand any chance of going to the next round in these Olympics. If not, it'll be bye-bye to one of the representatives of Africa at the 2020 Olympics.
Dakwa, do you think being host is actually working for Japan at this point in time? Because we didn't actually expect them to be leading the Group A with countries like Mexico, France in that particular group.
Well, I'm surprised that that the Japanese are on top of the table, because traditionally most countries, especially in football, when you are hosting, the technical part of it is actually put aside. The athletes, the participants are actually not the main focus. The hosts will they will keep focusing on facilities and the success of hosting. So I'm surprised that the Japanese are they're on top of the table there in that group. I give kudos to them because they play a mixture of Asian and European football, and we've seen a number of European coaches handling that Japanese team. So the character is there. There's a tradition, a mixture of Asian and European football, and it's difficult for you to actually phantom where they end their own attack. The pattern they're playing is always most the European style, and that's why they're making way. But I'm surprised that they are doing what they're doing now, topping their group, and they've not been forgotten by the local organizing committee that they have to prepare, not preparing facilities but preparing the team. So it's good for them. It's good. I'm happy that is happening, and that is beginning to tell us that as if you're hosting a major international competition, you must focus on your athletes and not just on your facilities and the success of hosting.
Of course, you just have to do what you need to do well, so that you can actually get to qualify to the next stage. Because we know that the Olympics, if you don't take your chances, you might just be sent packing at the end of the day. But we go straight to the medal table before we call it a wrap right here in the Tokyo 120 sports show right here on the Leadership Podcast. Right here is looking at the medal table where Japan neighbors talking about China, the People's Republic of China are the one actually leading the pack at this point in time. They have 6 gold medal, 1 silver medal, and 4 bronze medal, making it a total of 11 medals they have won so far in the ongoing Olympic Games. Looking at Japan, they have 5 gold medals, 1 silver, and 6 no bronze yet, making it a total of 6. While United United States of America and in third place with 14 with 4 gold, I beg your pardon, with 2 silver medal and 4 bronze medal, making it a total of 10. Korea followed by 2 gold medal, just 3 bronze medal, making it a total of 5. Looking at ROC, they have 1 gold, 4 silver and 2 bronze. Italy followed with 1 bronze. Australia, France, Hungary, Tunisia, Australia, Ecuador, they all have 1 gold medal respectively. Very interesting to see Tunisians, getting to be the first African country to win a gold medal. Alpha, what do you make up of the gold of the medal table at this point in time? The People's Republic of China still maintaining their lead on the medal table.
Interesting. If you remember when we were reviewing the medals table yesterday, as of yesterday, the United States were nowhere on the table, and I remember that was saying, as the games progress, that the men will be separated from the boys.
Of course.
And the way it's going right now, that's exactly how it's going. I mean, between yesterday and today, the United States now have 10 medals, 4 golds, I think 2 or 3 silver, then bronze. So they are now overall third. The Japanese are now second. Of course, you could argue that the benefit of being a host is working in the favor of the Japanese. So, but the Chinese are always there. Like we keep saying, at the end of as the games progresses, you see teams like the United States, China, the Russian Federation, ROC, coming up to make up for the the top 5. But like I said yesterday, at the end of the day, the United States will eventually most likely have the highest haul of medals in total. Good one coming from there, and good one for Tunisia. Tunisia now has a total of 2 medals, the only African country so far on the medals table, and we hope that other Africans too. By the next time we look at the medals table again, we should have 1 or 2 other African countries who join them, on the medals table. But good one, I must say, gradually the games are taking shape, and as the days go by, I'm sure there'll be a lot of surprises, a lot of upsets, and a lot of the big boys really staking their claim and really showing the world that yes, they are the ones who make the Olympic stick. So nice one.
Of course, Dapo, are you, surprised with what you're seeing at the medal table? Taking the fact that Great Britain, they're in the 19th position with just 1 silver, 1 bronze, making it a total of 2 medals at this point in time.
Well, I'm not surprised with the standing on the medals table. Just like we said yesterday, the games are just starting. The games are just starting, but at the end of the day, don't rule out China in the top 5. Don't rule out the Chinese, the Japanese, the Australians, and the USA. Though the 5th on the table would have been Russia, but they have been weakened, due to the scandal in doping that actually enveloped the country over a number of years now. Russia has been weakened, because it's not all the athletes that were actually cleared to come and compete. And just like we said yesterday again, by the time all the odds, I call them odds events, by the time they start, the likes of equestrian, the likes of shooting, the likes of fencing, all those sports that are medal winning, events in the Olympics, you will see China, Japan, Australia, America rising up to the occasion. They have all the sports, and if you look at them, if you look at the population, the number of athletes they came to the Olympics with, these 5 countries, most times they come with the highest, and it's not different this time around. They come with the highest number of athletes, and they compete in all the sports. In Nigeria, for example, we are only competing about 41 sports. But the likes of America, China, Japan, Australia, they are competing in over 100 sports. So when the events start coming up, as the game progresses, they will continue to move up, and you'll just be looking at them. It will be unassailable. They will continue to win gold at the sports which they have comparative advantage, and we don't actually rule down out now. The first 5, you will still Japan will be there. Don't be surprised, China will also be there. USA, Australia, and possibly starting from from the 2012 Olympics in London. Great Britain started, moving up, started showing appearance in the first 10 of the medals. But my focus line is just on the first 5, countries that will continue to make wave, that will continue to win gold medals and continue to move forward towards winning the overall title of the Olympics.
Of course, we are going to see team, getting to move up when games are really, get on the way right there in Tokyo. Well, at this point in time, this is where we'll be joining the curtain for today's program. But Alpha, before we go, your final thoughts on the show today.
Well, nice show as always, and the Olympics are gradually gathering steam, and by tomorrow, Nigeria will be actual again. The badminton singles will be coming up, same as the doubles event. So we really hope that when we come here, like I said earlier, tomorrow we'll be celebrating at least a Nigerian victory, in the games, which we'll be watching much later on, in the early hours of tomorrow, so to speak. So by the time we come here again tomorrow, we should be, having some small celebration to,
of course,
to celebrate with our athletes out there in Tokyo.
Of course, that for your final thought, we will be playing table tennis, taekwondo, also mixed doubles in badminton, and women's singles in badminton.
Well, tomorrow I'm expectant. I'm sure tomorrow, Nigerian athletes will put, smiles on the faces of the people, because the sports tomorrow they are going to compete in. They are sports that there's a possibility of winning. We have a strong, possibility of actually winning those events in the various stages we are going to play. And also by tomorrow, we'll have heard that the fracas, the issue, the crisis in camp has been sorted out, and the athletes can now focus. And also, we'll keep looking at the preparation, the strategizing of the Tigers, which is, to us, their biggest, expectations, their biggest, performance this time in Tokyo, and we are looking up to them. And I believe so much that even they are in athletics, the athletes also, by putting finishing touches, they will crossing their T's and dotting their I's, getting ready for their own events. I believe so much that tomorrow is going to be better for Nigeria, and continually it's going to be so. So the show so far so good has been a very, very fantastic one. I'm surprised that we're having, this top-notch, program coming from the leadership group. I'm very happy that the company is, they are the ones doing this very, very good, and it is very lovely. I commend the management for bringing this up.
Thank you very much, Dakpo, all the way from Lagos, joining us on the show today. Also, Alpha, my colleague here in the studio, thank you, for coming on the show today.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, Tokyo in 120 makes a return tomorrow by 7 p.m. at Nigerian time. What will be dishing to you all the biggest sport news coming in and out from the ongoing 2020 Olympic Games. Of course, you can endeavor to like our page on the Facebook, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll make a return tomorrow. What will bring to you all the mouth-watering sport news are coming out from the Olympic Games. For now, my name is Olawale Ayeni. I'm saying have a good night's rest. I wish you all the best ahead. Bye-bye for now, and God bless.